Good afternoon to everyone, and welcome you all to that presentation to the new SmartX community. First of all, I'm going to introduce myself because there are some familiar faces, but there are other new faces, so I think that's important to get to know each other. I am Judith Boss. I work as a project manager at the Textile ETP, which is the biggest network organization in Europe to connect research, industry, and universities in the textile and clothing sector. So saying that, here you have the webinar procedures. For the newcomers, the webinar is recorded. If you don't want to appear, disconnect your camera. And I ask to all the audience to keep your microphone mute. And of course, we monitor the chat. So if you have any question, do not hesitate anytime to type it, and we will take later on the group of Q&A sessions. And of course, be invited as well to raise your hand. So moving forward. Okay, the agenda of the day. This is the agenda we shared in social media, in our website, and that we have here now, but there is a small change. We are going to do the community introduction all together, and after we will have a Q&A session regarding the community. Then we will start at 3:15 with Joao Besa, and later to our keynote speaker, Mikael Snyder from Bjorn. Then we will have a Q&A session for the speakers that I'm sure that they are going to have a super interesting presentations. And of course, if you still have any question about the community, we will reply it in that timing. So saying that, I'm going to start talking about the background of the community, why we decided to create that community. And to do it, I will speak about the SmartX project results and as well to the Smart Textiles Masterclass. So starting with the SmartX project, it was a 3-year collaborative project to develop manufacturing value chains in smart textiles in Europe. So I'm sharing here one of the jobs that we did, which is develop the actual smart textiles manufacturing value chain. To do it, we took the existing electronics value chain map and the existing textile one. And we identified some gaps that still need to be fulfilled, which are mainly in integration, as well end cycle, washability, and use phase maintenance and warranty. To do it, it's key to have cross-sectorial collaboration to identify attractive end markets, and it's important to have a European network and, of course, supporting innovators, SME innovators, sorry. Saying that, we saw that because during the 3-year project, we found 25 travelers project that they introduced really interesting solutions, solving some key issues in the different end markets. We support those SMEs, giving them funding and coaching, which was not least important because both go together. I will invite you, I'm not going to go deeper on that, but I will invite you to visit the website where you can still find those projects and the products that they developed. Inside the SmartX, as I mentioned, it was really important, the networking and the cross-sectorial collaboration. We built a community with more than 800 subscribers. Those 800 subscribers had industry from the textile sector, IoT and electronics, software developers, and designers. Inside that community, we found the directory so that it was easy for the SMEs to connect among them to create those partnerships. As well, we had a selection of short webinars really addressing some barriers that we currently find in smart textiles. And that tool that was quite interesting, especially for building partnerships, the inquirers, There was, for example, a company that wanted to find, a textile company that wanted to find someone in software development. They just posted there, that was promoted via the community, and they find the partnership. And the other point is really important to be updated. This is why we shared a monthly newsletter. So saying that about the SmartX project, now we are moving to the Smart Textiles Masterclass. At the same time that the SmartX project was running, we created a 15-month program really addressing the 7 thematic modules that are key in the Smart Textiles value chain map, which are exploring the world of smart textiles, IoT functionalities and applications, key technologies and their maturity, technology validation, target market value chains and key stakeholders, life cycle and sustainability, and product market fit and business models. Overall, we had 14 webinars with more than 1,500 attendees, more than 50 experts, and of course, those webinars and those materials were recorded and uploaded in a website that all the members had access. So saying that, the new community, this is what the stage that we are right now, and I'm going to mention. The idea is to merge those two communities, those two big networks of experts, and combine them. Especially, this is why we believe there is a need of a community nowadays in smart textiles. And first of all, is because they have promising growth across many end markets like smart workwear and personal protection, medical devices and consumer health, sports and gaming, automotive, smart interiors, and Industry 4.0. Then as well, there are new developments emerging for technological centers and universities that industry needs to be updated. And that's important because there is obviously always a gap between what the technology centers are doing, what universities are doing, and what industry needs to know or needs to develop or consumers are requesting. Then as well, we have to be aware that the SMEs and startups are really important, but because they are really coming with new technologies and niche market solutions that are not well known across Europe. And it's important to showcase those new developments and products, which are, some of them are really fascinating. Fourth, and this I already mentioned, the cross-sectorial and multidisciplinary collaboration are key in smart textiles innovation. So it's an area that we are merging different fields, for example, textiles, IoT, software, designers, everything needs to be interconnected. And connect to those stakeholders outside of our European community, it's quite difficult and challenging for many companies, especially if they are small. And this is something we want to help you with that new community. And the fifth, and not least important, the market introduction and enabling. Standardization, for example, I think Daniela will mention at some point, it's a barrier nowadays for smart textiles because there's nothing written, and as well end use acceptance among others. And this requires a broad collaboration among different sectors. And of course, Horizon Europe and Europe in general, they are funding more, they are giving more funds towards cross-sectorial collaborations, partnerships, and this is why being part of a community gives you better opportunities to exploit EU funding. So saying that, I'm going to hand over now to our technical expert, Daniela Sabek, and she will give us the technicalities of this new program. Daniela, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Judith. Good afternoon to everybody who took time today to be with us again after our summer break. For those who do not know me yet, I work since, let's say, in the last 7-8 years in the field of smart textiles, bringing together the research, development, research results, project results with the industrial perspective. And my collaboration with the ETP is resulting one part in the masterclass program, which we did in very successful way last year. And now it is my pleasure again to be able to share with you what is the program for the SmartX community. Judith, if you can give me the next slide, thank you. So based on what we all learned from the last year collaboration in the masterclass program and as well from the SmartX project, I dare to say that the SmartX community will offer you main 5 broad services, which are strongly related to the needs from the industry, but also the needs from the research and development organizations. So we will combine the next slide, please. We will be active to providing you the knowledge and the information you need either for your new project proposals, for new project development or applied projects, and also the knowledge and information for the industry. This we plan to do, providing you regular webinar-based interactive sessions, where in this year we are organizing webinars dedicated to 3 very strong application fields: medical, sport, and personal protection / industrial applications. Next slide, please. And here I would like to point out what we will do in these webinars. I try to bring together from the perspective, the content, what you are searching for during your work. And from the industrial perspective, I need to point out that it's very important that we will discuss the user needs, the state-of-the-art and emerging solutions, the key technologies for that specific application field. Also, the problems to be solved on the technology side. And absolutely, what is very important to discuss the barriers which we need to overcome and being able to push our product, to launch our products on the market. For example, if I may introduce some example through the medical application field, I've seen in the past or recently that we have many prototypes which supposed to find a target group in the medical sector. But nevertheless, there are barriers and reasons why this is not happening. And first of all, for a specific application fields like medical sector is as well, we need to understand user needs. We need to discuss which technologies we have available today, and not to start the prototyping from the scratch. And in the same way, we will discuss the very important key technologies which can be then used in smart textiles for medical sector. And of course, what is also the blocking factor towards the market are regulations, standardizations, and in parallel for the industry, it is very important what business models have been companies used today or until today, what we have, and also maybe there is something we need to change that the smart textile products can really become visible more and more on the market. In a similar way, we will discuss also the application field of personal protection equipment, the field of sport, then also smart textiles for home textiles and construction building in the continuation. For every webinar, I will do my best to bring speakers from the industry, from the applied research, and also from the field of standardization and technical norms. As until now, each webinar will have also Q&A session where I will be encouraging you to ask as much as possible the things you need for your development. And the frequency of these webinars will be at least one webinar per month. Next slide, please. Working on this structure, which webinars to provide you and how to really support the SmartX community, I think it will be excellent to discuss together in a special webinars about these 4 topics I listed here. And this means it is very important to talk and discuss within the community what are blocking factors today towards go-to-market. Is this only the price? Is this lack of technology? Is this the barrier towards the standards? And then in the continuation, also in very detailed way, I would like to discuss with all of you about the technical norms and standards which can enable faster entering on the market. For these webinars, I will invite speakers who are in charge for the structuring and the definition of European norms at Senelec and also at some other organizations. Also, the representative of notified bodies will be invited as speakers, because if we speak about the standards, it's not enough. We also need to work or to know, okay, even if we have the standard, where can we certify our smart textile prototypes? And on this stage, it will be very important to have as experts on the board here the people from notified bodies all over Europe. Then also from the experiences until now, I've seen many stories, nice prototypes, who, for example, smart personal protection equipment, who have never seen the market because these requirements related to smart textile products are still not involved in public tender. So the idea is to have a special webinar dedicated to this discussion with decision makers. It means I will invite people from European Defense Agency, from the Firefighter European Union, from the European Safety Federation, and also from OSHA, the Agency for the Occupational Safety and Health. It is very important that you meet them and to hear from them how they see the evolution of smart textiles, because it will be very nice if in coming years we can have the requirements of smart textiles included in public tender in Europe. And as a 4th thematic topic webinar, I would like to dedicate to the at least 10, maybe more, research results in the field of smart textiles, which are ready for upscaling and or maybe today searching the industrial partners. So with all these topics, I hope that you as a participants or subscribers at the SmartX community will find your project partner, maybe business partner, etc. The next slide, please. On top of online webinars, we will be providing you also in-depth and on-site workshops, which the decision, of course, will based on subscriber demand, what you need as a expert developer manager in the field of smart textiles. This means that leader subscribers of the SmartX community can host such activities. And the difference between online webinars and these on-site workshops is in the physical presence or the physical networking of you, especially for those who would like to feel and see in reality what does it mean, how do we need to knit, for example, conductive yarns by a knitting machine, how do we weave conductive yarns in some woven structure. What does it mean in practice, embroidery of conductive yarns? In the continuation, we would like you to show which technology is available today for contacting those knitted or woven conductive yarns towards the sensors on one side and towards the electronic module on the other side. So this program about the on-site workshop, we will announce in parallel with performing the online webinars. Next slide, please. The idea is also to have more physical meetups, especially on sites where you as a subscriber of SmartX Community will be participating to some fairs where you will be exhibiting or you will be there as a visitor. As an example I can give, if we discuss during the online webinar all the topics I mentioned earlier about the medical sector, it will be very nice after the online webinar to meet together at the Fair Medica in Düsseldorf in November, or in the same way we can meet together at ISPO Fair in Munich, which is again in November this year. Then we have also a big plan to come together with participants or members of cost action program context, where the idea is that we can meet together in at a physical workshop, which will be held most likely in Paris next year in spring. The details will be announced later. And the same way we can meet together at the fair ITMA or later in autumn next year during the fair A+A in Düsseldorf. Next slide, please. Being involved in a SmartX community, you will also have the access to experts, to mentors or coaches, where you can find expertise or the knowledge you don't have maybe today, and you are searching for the expertise on the technology side or maybe on the business side. Of course, this program we will work on is again according to the need of the subscribers of SmartX community. Next slide, please. And as you are probably informed, SmartX project last year, also the masterclass program, were running through very nice, organized and visible platforms. And this is also the idea now to provide you the networking platform with some special features with a directory with all subscribers, where you can find contact data of all subscribers or individual experts. You can find at that platform all recorded webinars and presentations. Absolutely, you can find the catalog of 21-22 masterclass materials, and of course, all new agendas with a calendar with upcoming events. You will also have the possibility to create your own profile with your documents and also express your wishes and needs through the platform. It will be also the platform where we will share newsletters, but of course, you will be informed during newsletters also in your mailbox. Next slide, please. We will be, as a SmartX community, we will be present at different social medias, publishing what we are doing, what is the upcoming plans, about news, events, about members' news. Maybe you will have some news to be shared in this SmartX community. So these are actually the main services you can get being involved into the SmartX community starting now in September. Now I would like to give the word to Lutz to go on with further information how you can get the subscriber, and actually Lutz, please explore a bit the process of onboarding and subscribing process.
Thank you very much, Daniela, and also a very warm welcome from my side to the close to 100 participants of this webinar. Very glad to be that the webinar is as popular as it is. So it shows that this community is well and alive, and we obviously want to keep it this way. So what I would like to do in a few moments is to explain to you how you become a full participant in all this program that Daniela has explained to you. So just for those who don't know me, my name is Lutz Walter. I'm the Secretary General of the Textile ETP, the European Network for Textile Research and Innovation based in Brussels, where also Judith is based. So obviously we are a non-profit organization. So as the manager, organizer of this masterclass, we are not targeting to make a profit from these activities, but we are not a charity either. So we need to cover our costs to 100% from these activities. We're not receiving any other funding or subsidies like from the European Union or so on. So this was something that happened during the period of the SmartX project, but that has finished now. So this has to be a self-funded activity, and that's why we set up this subscription model, which we believe is something that can work very well on the basis of a good number of subscribers that share the costs for running and organizing this community that then benefits everybody. So obviously we are mindful that not all organizations with an interest in this community are created equal. So for this reason, we have created 3 different subscription levels, which we hope and believe reflect quite well the different types of organizations that may be interested in this. And I would like to take a moment now to go into these 3 subscription levels to make really sure that you understand what the difference is between the 3, and you then, if you decide to sign up, you sign up for the right subscription. One thing to say at the very beginning, this is a subscription that will have in the future an annual renewal, whereas right now we are basically operating on a 1 year plus model where those that subscribe now or until the end of 2022 will get, let's say, the activities of the last quarter of this year for free, so to speak. And so these prices that are quoted here are then valid for your subscription from the moment you subscribe in 2022 all the way to the end of December of 2023. So let's have a look to see what is in those different packages. So starting obviously with the leader, which is obviously the all-in package, or if you want to say maybe the premium package, where you basically get all the benefits of this community, and also very importantly, you can play a very active role in this community. So what we believe organizations that should consider to subscribe for this leadership package is organizations that consider themselves as true innovation leaders in smart textiles in Europe, and who want to expand their activities and collaborations across Europe. So with the interest of promoting their deep knowledge that they have, promoting innovation services, competences that they have, and also finding partners to further build their leadership. So in terms of the services, obviously you will get access to all the live webinars that we organize, plus all the recordings that are uploaded on the platform, including the 2021 and 22 back catalog that Daniela mentioned. You will have an opportunity to host your own webinars and workshops based obviously on our platform and operated by us, but you can basically set the agenda, you can define the speakers and so on, to basically you can use our infrastructure to set up your own activities, of course, within the overall objectives of this community, which is about knowledge and information sharing. It is not obviously a marketing tool in the first place, but it's really, I think, a very nice way of sharing your capacities and knowledge. You will, of course, be invited to present at our webinars. You may also be invited, if you're interested, to chair some technical sessions and technical discussions if they're really in your domain of expertise. If we decide to set up some kind of technical working groups, then and you would like to take a lead there, then that's also a possibility. And of course, in terms of number of experts that you can register, you have the biggest number of experts that we offer here. You can sign up to 15 people from your organizations, whether these are researchers, business developers, technicians, or other experts that wish to directly follow this community. We also, if we have those meetups at fairs, at exhibitions, and we organize guided visits, we will also invite you to be the guide, to help us set up those guided tours with partners of yours, for instance, and so on. So it's really a package where you have a lot of opportunity to shape what is happening. You can propose new topics for our community activities. And you have basically full access to our platform, to our newsletter, to our social media, to share your information. So this is the most complete package you can subscribe to. And as I said, we expect organizations, whether research organizations or companies that are really, whose core business really is in the area of smart textiles, to opt for this module. Let's move on. That was too fast. Let's see if I can move back. Here we go. So then the next model, the next package that we have is what we call the learner. The learner is for us an organization that has identified smart textiles as a promising field of activities for your organization, in which you want to broaden or deepen your knowledge. You want to build new partnerships, new collaborations, especially you look partners with knowledge, with technologies, with competences that are complementary to yours. So you really want to build basically your knowledge in that emerging market, but you're not yet sort of fully established in it. So clearly, as a learner, you want to have, and you will get access to all the live webinars that we organize, the recordings of the platform and the back catalog, same way as the leader. You can be invited to present at one webinar per year. That's an invitation. That's not an obligation, of course. We assume that if this is not yet your main core business, the number of people in your organization working in the domain of smart textiles is more limited. So we offer up to 5 individual experts to connect to the community. You're of course invited to join all our physical workshops and other meetups that we organize. And as a learner, you want to perhaps also benefit from some coaching activity. And we offer that initially by Daniela, but later on also other experts that we identify through the community can be matched with you for coaching activity. So it's a package which is really focusing on giving you a maximum access to the knowledge, to the information that is provided in this community. So it's a package where you receive a lot of information without being expected or required to provide yourself a lot of input. Let's see if we can move forward. And so the third and last package that we offer is what we call a networker. For a networker, we see here more organizations that have some fairly specific knowledge or technical competence in a field that is of relevance to smart textiles. But again, it's probably not your core business, but it's something where you want to explore, where you want to let you know potential future partners across Europe, what your expertise, what your competences are. So it is more about you are interested to share and you are interested to connect. So that's why the name networker. So we will give you access to webinars, but not necessarily all live webinars. You will have access to recordings and other materials that are on the platform. We invite you to present at one webinar per year if you're interested to do so. Again, we believe that you only have a small team that may be working in that field of smart textiles or in that domain that is relevant for smart textiles. So we allow you to register up to 3 people, individual people from the organization, to our community. We will also invite you, of course, to join our physical workshops and other meetups because obviously you want to network, so that's important. And you are also allowed to share 1 news item per month via our platform, newsletter, and social media. So that is, again, different to the learner who is more interested in receiving information. This is a package where you can also provide information without really playing such a proactive role as a leader. So I hope it has become relatively clearer for you why we have these 3 packages. So this is not just a expensive and a cheap package, but it's really 3 packages that are custom made for what we believe are different profiles of organizations in this masterclass or in this community. So having explained that, so we obviously also provide some benefits and some discounts for organizations that are working with us as an organization or that have worked with us before, namely the members of the European Textile Technology Platform, where we have 2 types. We have associate members and we have networking members. So for Textile ETP associate members, you can benefit from a 300 euros discount if you sign up for a leader subscription, or a 150 euro discount if you sign up for either a learner or a networker subscription. If you're a networking member of the Textile ETP, you have 150 euros of discount depending on the subscription that you opt for. We also want to reward those organizations that worked with us in the previous masterclass in 2021-22. So if you were a subscriber and you want to sign up for the leader subscription, you will benefit from a one-time 350 euros subscription for this first year or year and 3 months subscription. If you want to sign up for a learn or network subscription, you will get this one-time discount of 200 euros. So the difference here is that those Textile ETP member subscriptions have a permanent discount, so that applies every year again, because as members of the Textile ETP, you pay every year also a membership fee, whereas for those masterclass subscribers, you get a one-time benefit based on the subscription of your of the masterclass that you did. We also are mindful that we have organizations that are themselves networks of membership with several members, such as clusters or local and regional associations. So for these organizations, we also have a specific package prepared where, in addition to your own organizational subscription as leader, networker, or a learner, you can also connect additional individuals from the companies that are within your network. So up to 5 company connections in addition to what is in your package already would cost you a €300 extra. And if you want to sign up to 10 individual participant, that would cost you €500 extra. We want to stress that this is something that will provide access to the individual expert, but it will not provide any visibility or any promotion of the individual company in the community. So if a member company of a cluster uses that subscription via the cluster, the company will not show up in our community. The individual will show up, but he or she will show up as an expert linked to that cluster or association that you signed up with. And those different discounts cannot be accumulated. That I think is also to be stressed. So again, there are benefits for organizations that have been working with us in the past, which I think is normal and reasonable. So with all that, you have the possibility to subscribe, and we hope that, having heard all the information so far today, you will rush to subscribe. So for those who are very quickly decided, Judith has provided the link in the chat, but of course the link will also be shared with you afterwards. There are a few conditions related to it that I'm not going to read through, but have a look at them at your own comfort. Obviously, it's an annual renewal, which has certain conditions attached to it, which is, I would say, quite typical for subscription activity. So with this, I think I come to the end of the technicalities of the subscription. And before we open for Q&A, I would hand over to Judith, who will explain to you a few more practicalities on, once you are subscribed, what is going to happen next, and also introduces you the remaining program for the year for our subscribers then, of course. Judith.
Okay, thank you, Lutz. Okay, so coming back to me, I'm gonna briefly explain you what will happen once you subscribe. So after we receive your subscription, a confirmation email will be received in 48 hours, and the invoice will be sent within 3 working days. After submitting a proof of payment, we really need the proof of payment. I will share a link with the person in contact to register experts. This person can register the experts themselves, or they can share the link for the people to register inside the association. And then after the registration is completed, and a link to put the credentials in the platform will be sent. In the platform, you will have to fill, or just one person will have to fill the information of the company. And of course, every individual will need to add a smiley picture, because we like to know each other. So it's really important to upload a smiley picture and basically your professional data. Then after that, you will have access to the platform. It's quite intuitive, but nevertheless, we will do a tutorial in order that you can really follow up what's going on in the platform and how it works at the beginning. Saying that, I'm going to explain a bit the timeline for until the end of the year, which we are going to have the welcome webinar on the 28th of September. For the subscribers. Then on the 26th of October, we are going to target end markets, especially towards medical applications, really addressing the Medica fair. And on the 23rd of November, we are targeting a sports application, which is going to be related to the ISPO fair. To finish with the year, we will finalize it with with a webinar in industrial applications. Those webinars are long webinars, so they're going to last around 3 hours. Of course, if there is a need from the subscribers, we will add shorter webinars addressing special barriers of 1 hour max. Other activities that we have planned, as Daniela mentioned, is the idea of having a tour, a meetup tour in America and IFSO, if there is a need from the subscribers. And as well, if one leader wants to organize until the end of the year a workshop or a webinar or something like that, we will support that activity. And those, all the dates will give with enough time notice that you can note it in your agendas. So saying that, I think there are already a few questions on the chat. I'm gonna take those ones, and let's see. I have a question that are there special conditions for research institutions? The answer is, if you are a member of the ETP, yes, you can deduct. And if you were a member of the masterclass as well, you can deduct. For the masterclass subscribers, the first year, for the ETP members, every year the amount will be deducted according to the program you subscribe. So
yes, we are not making any differences in terms of types of organization, size of organization, and so on. We believe those rates that we have are very democratic. So making that still dependent on the size or the type of the organization would increase the complexity. So those rates apply to all types of organization. There's another question regarding subscriptions that I saw that I can answer also immediately, which is the payment. Unfortunately, for the time being, we can only accept bank transfer payments. We cannot process credit cards. We are a small nonprofit. We are not having those capacities for the time being. So I hope that is something that can be implemented. I know that sometimes, especially for larger organizations, setting up customers in ERP system could be tricky, but for the time being, that's the only thing we can process from our side.
There is another question that it's regarding the associations. What is the best subscription level for association? For an association, I will really go for the learner, especially because you can add these companies, 5-10 companies under your subscription level. And as well, then you have access to all functionalities of the platform. Otherwise, with a networker, you don't have access to all the functionalities of the platform, and then your members doesn't either. So this is why I would recommend the learner. Unless you are a really active association, you are really in Smart Textiles, and then you want to opt for the leader. That would be my advice. And then
it was a question concerning the low TRL level. I'm not 100% sure I understand it correctly, but what I would say, no, we are not just covering here very low TRL. So we will have discussion, as Daniela has explained. We're talking also about go-to-market, about standardization, about these kind of activities, which are definitely not low TRL. So it's not a research community as such, it's really an innovation community. On the other side, we have to be very mindful that we are not talking here commercial aspects. Also, in the interest of antitrust, we have to be very mindful of this, that we are not talking here about manufacturing volumes, about prices, about any of these kind of issues that could that would be in violation of antitrust rules. So if we have, for instance, competitors in this community here, we will not allow any discussions that relate to commercial confidential subjects. So I don't know if that really replied to the question. Otherwise, François Régy, you can perhaps specify if we missed what you meant.
There is another question regarding if people can subscribe until the 20th of October. The answer is yes. I mean, we are going to keep the subscriptions open forever. I mean, I'm not going to close the subscription link, never. The only thing is true that maybe for the welcome webinar with the proof of payment and all that, the time is really tight, but don't really worry because all the webinars will be recorded and all the webinars will be uploaded in the intranet. So you will have access later on. So there is no problem to subscribe later on.
I'm just checking now. Are there any other questions in the chat? I don't see any. What about anybody still? If you still have a question later on, we can come back to that before the very end.